The blue sky over Washington, D.C. darkened as massive ships appeared from nowhere. One moment the summer day was clear. The next 7 disc-shaped craft hovered above the city. People stopped in the streets, pointing upward, some running in fear while others took videos with their phones. Commander Frank Patterson sat rigid in his chair at Earth Defense Fleet headquarters. The radar screen showed what his eyes couldn't believe. Aliens, real aliens. After decades of speculation, first contact had arrived without warning. "Sir, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," said Lieutenant Olivia Martinez, her dark hair pulled back tightly, her fingers moving quickly across her communication panel. "Put it through," Frank ordered, straightening his uniform. A face appeared on the main screen. The alien had gray-blue skin, 4 eyes positioned in a diamond pattern, and spoke with a voice that seemed to echo inside Frank's head rather than through the speakers. "People of Earth, we are the Galactic Coalition. We come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic relations with your world." Within hours, Frank found himself aboard a shuttle rising through the atmosphere. 3 other officers accompanied him: Martinez, Security Chief Peter Kelly, and First Officer Gray Harris. Their small craft approached the main alien vessel, a massive ring-shaped ship that dwarfed anything humans had ever built. "Remember," Frank told his team, "we represent all of humanity today. Let's not mess this up." The shuttle docked with a soft thud. When the doors opened, 3 aliens waited for them. The central figure stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Zoltar of the Coalition. Welcome aboard the Harmony." Frank stepped forward and extended his hand, a gesture the alien mimicked after a moment's hesitation. "Commander Frank Patterson, Earth Defense Fleet. We're honored to meet you." The aliens led them through curved hallways to a large round room with a table. Representatives of what looked like different species sat around it. Frank counted 17 distinct types of beings. "The Coalition consists of 17 spacefaring civilizations," Zoltar explained. "We have maintained peace across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy for over 2,000 years." Frank nodded, trying to hide his amazement. "Earth would be honored to learn from your example." As they took their seats, Martinez whispered, "Sir, I'm picking up unusual energy readings from outside the ship." Before Frank could respond, alarms blared. The aliens around the table jumped to their feet as red lights flashed. "We are under attack," Zoltar shouted. "The Vexeri have found us." The view screen on the wall activated, showing smaller dart-shaped vessels firing upon both the Coalition ships and Earth below. Frank watched in horror as blue liquid projectiles shot from the attacking ships. "What are those?" he asked as the blue substances hit one of the Coalition ships and seemed to melt through its hull instantly. "Hydro weapons," Zoltar said, fear evident in his voice. "We must evacuate immediately." The ship rocked from an impact. Zoltar guided them quickly toward the shuttle bay, but a massive explosion threw them off their feet. Part of the ceiling collapsed, and blue liquid sprayed across the room. "Don't let it touch you," Zoltar screamed. "The hydro weapons dissolve all matter they contact." Frank watched in horror as one of the Coalition members was hit with a small drop. The alien's arm dissolved in seconds, the dissolution spreading up to his shoulder as he screamed. In the chaos, Martinez tripped and fell near a tiny puddle of the blue liquid. A single drop splashed onto her hand. She cried out, expecting agony, but felt only a strange burning sensation before she wiped it away. They barely made it to their shuttle as the Coalition ship began breaking apart. As they descended toward Earth, they could see blue splashes across the countryside below, each one creating a perfect circle of destruction. "What were those things?" Greg asked, his face pale with shock. "They call them hydro weapons," Frank said, looking at Martinez, who stared at her hand in confusion. "And from what we just saw, they might be the most dangerous weapons in the galaxy." Martinez said nothing about the drop that had touched her. Instead, she watched through the window as Coalition and Vexeri ships battled above her home planet, wondering why she was still alive when she should have been dissolved like the others. 6 months passed since the first attack. Olivia Martinez stood at the window of the space station orbiting Mars, watching coalition ships move into formation. The Earth Defense Fleet had grown, thanks to shared technology from their new alien allies. But so had the threat. The door slid open behind her. Admiral Alan Wright entered, his face tired from too many sleepless nights. "Captain Martinez," he said, acknowledging her recent promotion. "The Coalition War Council is gathering. They requested you specifically." Olivia nodded. The small blue mark on her hand where the Hydra weapon had touched her was barely visible now, but she still remembered the burning sensation. She had told no one except the medical team who discovered it during her mandatory checkup after the first contact disaster. "How bad is it?" she asked as they walked through the curved hallway. "Bad," Wright answered. "The Vexeri have taken 3 more star systems using those damned Hydra weapons. Nothing stops them." They entered a large room where representatives from the coalition species sat around a holographic display showing a map of the galaxy. Zoltar nodded at them as they took their seats. "Earth representatives, thank you for joining us," Zoltar said. "The situation has worsened. We have lost contact with the Proxima colony." The hologram shifted to show a planet vanishing under spreading blue pools. Olivia felt her stomach tighten. A small green alien with 6 limbs stepped forward. "I am Dr. Vren, head coalition scientist. We have studied the Hydra weapons extensively. They contain a bioengineered symbiotic organism that deconstructs matter on contact." "Like a living acid?" Wright asked. "More complex," Dr. Vren answered. "It bonds with materials, breaks them down, and absorbs their energy. It was designed to be especially effective against our species' biology." Another alien, a tall figure with crystalline skin, spoke next. "Our intelligence suggests the Vexeri plan to attack your moon colony within 30 days. They see humans as the weakest link in our alliance." Wright's fist clenched. "Earth will not fall." "With respect, Admiral," the crystalline being said, "no species has resisted the Hydra weapons. Once deployed on a planet's surface, total dissolution occurs within days." Olivia cleared her throat. All eyes turned to her. "There might be something you should know," she said, raising her hand to show the faded blue mark. "During the first contact attack, I was exposed to a small amount of the weapon." The room erupted in shocked voices. Zoltar moved quickly to her side, examining her hand with wide eyes. "Impossible," Dr. Vren said, pushing through the crowd. "No one survives contact." "I got sick for a few days," Olivia explained. "Fever, stomach pain. Then it passed." Dr. Vren used a small device to scan her hand. "Traces remain in your tissue, but they're dormant." He looked up, his large eyes blinking rapidly. "This defies everything we know about the weapons." "Could all humans have this resistance?" Zoltar asked. "Unknown," Dr. Vren replied. "But if true, it would be the first weakness we found in the Vexeri arsenal." Wright stepped forward. "Whatever tests you need to run, Captain Martinez has my permission to participate." "I volunteer," Olivia said firmly. "If humans have some natural defense against these weapons, we need to understand it before the moon colony is attacked." The council quickly approved a research mission. As they left the meeting, Wright put a hand on Olivia's shoulder. "You didn't report the exposure," he said. "It wasn't a question." "I was afraid they'd quarantine me forever," she admitted. "Then when nothing happened, it didn't seem important." Wright nodded. "It might be the most important thing that's happened in this war. The Vexeri believe these weapons make them invincible. If humans can resist them even slightly, it gives us a chance," Olivia finished. As their shuttle prepared for the journey to Europa, where the Coalition had established a research facility, Olivia looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Vexeri were preparing to attack her people, confident in their unstoppable weapons. They didn't know that humans might be different. For the first time since the war began, Olivia felt something new. The Coalition Research Facility on Europa gleamed under Jupiter's distant light. Inside a sealed laboratory, Olivia sat patiently as Dr. Kate Williams drew another blood sample. The human doctor had been working alongside Dr. Vren for the past week, studying why Olivia had survived contact with the hydro weapon. "This might pinch a bit," Kate said, inserting a needle into Olivia's arm. Behind her, Dr. Vren watched with his 6 eyes blinking in sequence. "How many more tests?" Olivia asked. Time was running short. The attack on the moon colony would happen in less than 3 weeks. "We're getting close," Kate replied. She placed the blood sample into a machine. "Your blood has unusual properties when exposed to the hydro substance." Dr. Vren moved closer. "Most species' biological matter simply dissolves when it contacts the weapon. Your cells show resistance." Kate pointed to a screen showing microscopic images. "Look here. When we add a tiny amount of the hydro substance to your blood, your white blood cells attack it like an infection." "Is this true for all humans?" Olivia asked. "We've tested blood samples from 50 volunteers," Kate said. "All show similar reactions, though yours is strongest. We think it's because you've already been exposed once." Dr. Vren made a clicking sound. "But blood alone doesn't explain your survival. The weapon should have spread through your body regardless." Kate nodded excitedly. "That's our breakthrough. We believe it's stomach acid." "Stomach acid," Olivia repeated. "Human digestive acids are remarkably strong compared to other coalition species," Kate explained. "When we mixed the hydro substance with human stomach acid, it neutralized it completely." Dr. Vren extended one of his limbs toward a sealed container holding a small amount of blue liquid. "We think the hydro-organisms cannot survive the extreme heat range of human digestive systems. So if someone swallowed it," Olivia began. "In theory," Kate said carefully, "human stomach acid would kill the organisms before they could break down tissues. But it's just a theory." Admiral Wright entered the lab with Zoltar beside him. "A theory isn't enough," Wright said. "The Vexeri fleet has increased speed. They'll reach the moon in 10 days. Zoltar's 4 eyes darted between the humans and the container of blue liquid. "The Coalition High Command is skeptical of using humans as a defense strategy. They're preparing to evacuate the moon." "We can't give up the moon," Wright argued. "If it falls, Earth is next." Olivia stared at the container of hydro substance. An idea formed in her mind. What if we tested the theory? Everyone turned to look at her. "You mean?" Kate's voice trailed off. "I survived external contact," Olivia said. "If our theory is correct, I could survive ingesting a small amount. It might even build stronger immunity." Dr. Vren made a horrified noise. "Absolutely not. The risk is too great." "I agree," Wright said firmly. "We can't risk." "With all respect, sir," Olivia interrupted, "we're running out of time and options. If humans can safely process this substance, it could change everything." Kate bit her lip. "If we diluted it significantly and had emergency medical support standing by." After hours of heated debate, they prepared the test. Olivia sat on a medical bed, surrounded by monitoring equipment. Kate handed her a small glass containing water with 3 drops of blue liquid mixed in. "Are you sure about this?" Kate asked one last time. Olivia looked at the faces around her, human and alien alike, all showing concern and hope. "The Vexeri think their weapons make them invincible," she said. "What if they're wrong?" She lifted the glass to her lips and drank. At first, she felt nothing. Then a warm sensation spread through her chest, followed by a tingling in her fingers and toes. The monitors beeped as her heart rate increased. "How do you feel?" Kate asked anxiously. Olivia was about to answer when a wave of dizziness hit her. She gasped, clutching the bed as blue veins briefly appeared on her skin, then faded. Everyone moved forward, ready to intervene. But then Olivia's vision cleared. The dizziness passed, and she felt different, stronger somehow. She held up her hand, watching in amazement as small droplets of water from a nearby cup trembled and moved toward her fingertips. "I think," she said slowly, "we just found our weapon against the Vexeri." 3 days passed since Olivia drank the diluted hydro substance. The changes in her body amazed the scientists. She could sense water anywhere nearby. With concentration, she could make small amounts move and change shape. Her skin had a slight blue tint when she used these new abilities. "Your cells have partially bonded with the hydro-organisms," Kate explained as she reviewed test results. "Instead of being broken down by them, you've achieved a symbiotic relationship." Dr. Vran hovered nearby, his 6 limbs moving constantly in excitement. "Nothing like this has ever happened before. The organisms usually destroy living tissue, not enhance it." Olivia demonstrated by lifting a small ball of water from a cup, forming it into a sphere that floated above her palm. "How can we use this to fight the Vexeri?" Admiral Wright watched from the doorway. "We need more than one person with these abilities if we're going to defend the moon colony." "I've been thinking about that," Kate said. "We need volunteers willing to drink carefully calculated doses. People with strong immune systems and specific blood types like Olivia's." "I know someone," Olivia said. "Navy SEAL Richard Gomes. We served together before the Coalition contact. If anyone can handle this, he can. And we need someone who understands the science," Kate added. "My colleague Dr. Samantha Clark is an expert in biochemistry. She might see patterns in how different people react to the substance." Wright nodded. "I'll arrange transport for them immediately. But we need to move fast. Coalition scouts captured a Vexeri ship yesterday. The attack on the moon is now only 7 days away." Within 24 hours, Richard Gomes and Samantha Clark arrived at the Europa facility. They sat in a conference room as Olivia explained what had happened to her. "So you drink alien death juice, and now you can move water with your mind?" Richard asked, his broad shoulders shifting as he leaned forward. "That's an oversimplification," Samantha said, her glasses reflecting the blue light of the lab, "but essentially correct." "And you want us to drink it too?" Richard looked skeptical. "I won't lie," Olivia said. "It hurts. Your body feels like it's burning from the inside for a few hours. But then, it changes you." Samantha studied the data on her tablet. "The success rate in lab animals is only about 60%. The rest don't survive the process. 40% chance of death," Richard said flatly. "Those aren't great odds." Olivia held his gaze. "We've improved the formula since my test. The odds are better now. But yes, it's dangerous." Richard was quiet for a moment. "The moon colony has 5,000 people. If we do nothing, the death rate is 100%. "Exactly," Olivia said. Richard nodded. "I'm in." "Me too," Samantha said. "The scientific potential alone is worth the risk." Over the next 3 days, 20 more volunteers joined them. Each person drank the refined formula and underwent the painful transformation. Some developed abilities similar to Olivia's. Others displayed unique talents. Richard could create pressurized jets of water from his palms, strong enough to cut through metal. Samantha could freeze water into complex shapes with a thought. Not everyone survived. 4 volunteers died during the process, their bodies overwhelmed by the hydro-organisms. The team mourned their sacrifice, but pressed on. On the 6th day, Zoltar brought news. "The Vexeri fleet has been spotted passing Saturn. They will reach the moon tomorrow." "Are we ready?" Wright asked Olivia. She looked at her team of transformed humans, now called Hydro Commandos by the rest of the base. Each person glowed with faint blue light, their bodies forever changed by the substance everyone else in the galaxy feared. "We're ready," she said. "The Vexeri think their weapons make them invincible. They've never faced humans before." Wright gave the order to deploy. As their ships prepared for the journey to the moon, Richard approached Olivia. "You know they're coming with overwhelming force, right? 50 of our ships against hundreds of theirs." Olivia nodded. "Yes, but they don't know what we can do now." For the first time in the conflict, humans would be the ones bringing a surprise to the battlefield. The moon hung in space, its gray surface dotted with the lights of the human colony. 50 Earth Defense Fleet ships formed a protective line between the moon and the approaching Vexeri Armada. Aboard the lead ship, Olivia and her team of Hydro Commandos prepared for battle. "They've arrived," Admiral Wright announced over the communication system. 200 ships, just as intelligence predicted. Through the viewports, they watched as the Vexeri vessels emerged from space, sleek and deadly. Their hulls glowed with blue light, the same color as the hydro weapons they carried. "Remember your training," Olivia told her team. "Our primary goal is to protect the colony. If you can absorb the smaller hydro projectiles, do it. Redirect the larger ones back at their ships." Richard checked his specialized suit, designed to amplify his water control abilities. What if they don't use the hydro weapons? What if they just blast us with regular weapons? Coalition intelligence says they rely almost exclusively on hydro weapons, Samantha replied. "They think nothing can stop them." A voice came over the communication system. "This is Vexeri High Commander. Surrender your colony or face dissolution." Admiral Wright responded, "This is Earth Admiral Wright. We decline your offer. The moon stays under human protection." A moment of silence followed. Then chaos erupted. Blue streaks shot from the Vexeri ships, hundreds of hydro weapon projectiles heading toward the human fleet and the moon's surface. Coalition ships fired back with energy weapons, but most Vexeri vessels easily avoided the shots. "Commandos deploy," Olivia ordered. 20 small craft launched from the human ships, each carrying 2 or 3 hydro commandos. They positioned themselves between the incoming projectiles and the moon. Olivia reached out with her mind, feeling the familiar pull of the hydro substance. As a small blue projectile approached her craft, she extended her hand. Instead of dissolving her ship, the blue liquid hovered before her, then was drawn into her body through her skin. She felt a surge of energy as her cells absorbed the substance. All around her, other commandos did the same. Richard used his abilities to catch larger projectiles and redirect them toward Vexeri ships. Samantha froze several hydroblasts into solid chunks that harmlessly bounced off the human fleet's shields. On the main command ship, Admiral Wright watched in amazement. "It's working," he said to Zoltar, who stood beside him. "They're actually stopping the hydro weapons." "Impossible," Zoltar whispered, his 4 eyes wide with shock. The Vexeri seemed equally surprised. Their attack faltered as they watched their unstoppable weapons being absorbed or redirected. Several of their ships were hit by their own weapons, blue liquid eating through their hulls. Olivia's team pressed the advantage, moving closer to the Vexeri fleet. With each hydro weapon they absorbed, their abilities grew stronger. Blue veins glowed beneath their skin as they manipulated water in ways that defied physics. "Their flagship is changing position," Richard reported, pointing to a massive vessel at the center of the Vexeri formation. "I think they're retreating." "Not all of them," Olivia observed. A single Vexeri craft broke from the fleet, charging toward the moon's surface. "They're going for a direct attack on the colony." Olivia and Richard pursued the lone ship, their craft speeding through space. The Vexeri vessel released a massive hydro projectile, larger than any they had seen before, aimed at the main dome of the lunar colony. "I can't absorb something that big," Richard shouted. "Together," Olivia said, reaching for his hand. Their abilities combined, they created a swirling vortex that caught the huge blue mass and held it suspended between them and the colony. Samantha's voice came through their communication system. "I'm coming to help." Her craft appeared beside theirs, and she added her power to theirs. The 3 of them strained against the enormous mass of deadly liquid. With a final push of mental energy, they reversed the projectile's direction, sending it back toward the lone Vexeri ship. The blue substance enveloped the vessel, dissolving it completely. Across the battlefield, the rest of the Vexeri fleet began to retreat. For the first time in the war, They had faced opposition they couldn't overcome. As Olivia returned to the command ship, she noticed something strange. The Vexeri ship they had destroyed hadn't completely dissolved. A small escape pod drifted among the debris. "Admiral," she reported, "we have a prisoner." The Vexeri prisoner sat in a special cell on the Europa research station. Its skin was pale gray with hints of blue, and 6 glowing eyes blinked in sequence across its forehead. 2 coalition guards stood outside, while inside, Olivia, Admiral Wright, and Zoltar conducted the interrogation. "Why attack us?" Wright asked. "Earth had no quarrel with your people." The prisoner remained silent, its eyes focused on Olivia. Finally, it spoke in a voice that seemed to echo from multiple places at once. "You consumed the blue water," it said. "Impossible." Olivia stepped closer. The blue veins under her skin glowed faintly, a side effect of her transformation. Not impossible, just unexpected. The prisoner's 6 eyes widened. The weapons were designed to destroy all carbon-based life. No species should survive contact. "Humans are resilient," Wright said. "Now tell us, where do the hydro weapons come from?" For a moment, the prisoner was silent again. Then it made a sound like laughter. "You drink our weapons, yet know nothing of their source. The blue water comes from Nexus 9. Zoltar gasped. "The aquatic planet. We thought it was uninhabited." "The entire planet is our weapon factory," the prisoner explained. "Its oceans produce the organisms we harvest. We have refined them for centuries to be perfect killers." Olivia felt a strange pull in her mind when the prisoner mentioned Nexus 9, as if the hydro-organisms in her body responded to the name. "You've suffered your first defeat," Wright pointed out. "Your weapons are no longer unstoppable." The prisoner's eyes narrowed. "One battle. The humans on your moon got lucky. We have enough hydro weapons to dissolve every colony in this system." After the interrogation, the human and coalition leaders gathered in the command center. The mood was mixed. Celebration of their victory at the moon, but concern about the continuing threat. "Nexus 9 is located in the Cygnus Arm," Zoltar explained, showing a star map. "It is nearly 80% water, with small land masses scattered across the surface. If that's where they produce the hydro weapons, that's where we need to strike," Wright said. Kate Williams and Samantha Clark had been analyzing data from the battle. Kate stepped forward. "We've made an important discovery. The more hydro substance our commandos absorbed during the fight, the stronger their abilities became." "There seems to be no upper limit," Samantha added. "With proper delivery systems, we could safely introduce larger quantities of the substance into volunteers." Richard Gomes, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. "You're talking about making us even more powerful. But at what cost? We're already not fully human anymore." "You're still human," Kate assured him. "Just enhanced." Olivia had been quiet, lost in thought. Since the battle, she had experienced strange dreams, visions of a vast blue ocean and voices that spoke in a language she somehow understood. "There's something else," she said finally. Everyone turned to her. I think the hydro-organisms are communicating with me." Silence fell over the room. "What do you mean?" Wright asked carefully. "At first I thought they were just dreams, but they're becoming clearer. I can sense a consciousness within the organisms in my body. They're not just weapons. They might be intelligent." Dr. Vren moved forward, all 6 of his limbs twitching with excitement. "A collective intelligence. This changes everything." If Olivia can communicate with them, Samantha realized, then maybe they can be reasoned with. Or controlled, Wright added. Olivia shook her head. "Not controlled. They're not tools. I think they're slaves. The Vexeri harvest them from Nexus 9 and force them to become weapons." She closed her eyes, concentrating on the faint voices she could now hear clearly. When she opened them again, a small globe of water floated above her palm, moving in complex patterns. "They're showing me things, the history of Nexus 9. The Vexeri came centuries ago and began experimenting on the native organisms. They found ways to alter them genetically, to make them destructive against their nature. Wright and Zoltar exchanged glances. Captain Martinez, Wright said formally, "Do you believe you could establish stronger communication with these organisms on Nexus 9 itself?" Olivia nodded, the blue globe still dancing above her hand. "I think that's what they want. They're trying to show me the way home." "Then it's settled," Wright declared. "We're going to Nexus 9, not just to stop the Vexeri weapons production, but to make contact with the source of the hydro-organisms. This will be dangerous," Zoltar warned. "The Vexeri will defend their primary resource with everything they have." "Let them try," Richard said, blue light pulsing beneath his skin. "This time, we'll be ready for them." The Joint Human Coalition fleet exited faster than light travel at the edge of the Nexus 9 system. 50 ships strong, they faced the largest Vexeri armada ever assembled. Over 300 vessels protecting their most valuable resource. On the command deck of the flagship, Olivia stared at the blue-green planet on the main screen. The pull in her mind was stronger now, almost overwhelming. The hydro-organisms in her body vibrated with excitement. "They know we're here," she said softly. "The Vexeri?" Wright asked, standing beside her. "No, the planet. It knows." The 48 hydro commandos had gathered in the ship's main hangar, preparing for the assault. Each had consumed carefully measured doses of the hydro substance during the journey, strengthening their abilities. Their skin glowed with blue light, visible even through their specialized battle suits. Richard approached Olivia. "The assault teams are ready. Once we create an opening, the main force will target the central production facility on the northern continent." Samantha joined them, her hands surrounded by a faint blue mist. "The Coalition scientists have located the facility using long-range scans. It's a massive structure built into the coastline, half on land, half underwater." "That's our target," Olivia confirmed. "But first we need to get past their fleet." Admiral Wright addressed the combined forces over the communication system. "This is our one chance to end the hydro-weapon threat. Coalition ships will engage the Vexeri fleet, while the Hydro Commandos create a path to the planet's surface. Earth's future depends on this mission. Good luck to all." The battle began with a massive exchange of fire. Coalition ships launched conventional weapons while Vexeri vessels responded with hydro projectiles. This time, the commandos were prepared. Small teams in specialized craft moved to intercept the deadly blue liquid, absorbing the smaller blasts and redirecting the larger ones. Olivia led the main assault team, with Richard and Samantha at her side. Their craft darted between larger ships, using their enhanced reflexes to avoid enemy fire. As they absorbed more hydro substance, their powers grew stronger. Richard created massive water spouts that smashed into Vexeri vessels. Samantha froze enemy ships in blocks of ice. Olivia sensed the flow of every water molecule around her, manipulating them with increasing precision. "We've created an opening," Richard called out as a section of the Vexeri defense line crumbled. "All assault teams, move in," Olivia ordered. 12 small craft broke through, racing toward the planet's surface. As they entered the atmosphere, the pull in Olivia's mind became even stronger. She could feel the planet's oceans calling to her. Images flashed in her mind, vast underwater cities, complex networks of hydro-organisms flowing like living rivers. "I can see it," she told her team as they approached the production facility. "The central core is deep underground, beneath the facility. That's where they're harvesting the organisms." The facility came into view, an enormous structure built into a cliff face, with pipes extending into the ocean. Vexeri ground forces had assembled to defend it, armed with hydro-weapon launchers. "They're waiting for us," Richard noted. Olivia nodded. "Then let's not disappoint them." The commandos landed on a plateau overlooking the facility. The Vexeri immediately opened fire, sending waves of blue liquid toward them. Instead of taking cover, the humans walked forward, absorbing the deadly substance, With each attack, they grew stronger. Richard created a massive wave that swept away the first line of defenders. Samantha froze the ground beneath others, immobilizing them. The remaining commandos used their various water abilities to push forward, advancing steadily toward the main entrance. Olivia felt a surge of emotion from the hydro-organisms inside her. Anger, pain, and hope all mixed together. As they reached the entrance to the facility, she placed her hand on the massive door. Blue light spread from her fingers, and the metal began to dissolve. They're helping us, she realized. The organisms inside the facility. They want to be free. The door melted away, revealing a vast interior space filled with tanks of blue liquid. Vexari scientists fled at the sight of the glowing humans. We need to reach the core, Olivia told her team. According to what I'm sensing, it's 5 levels down. As they moved deeper into the facility, Olivia felt the connection growing stronger. The planet was alive, she realized. Not just inhabited, but conscious. And the Vexari had been harvesting pieces of it for centuries, turning them into weapons. We're close, she said as they approached a massive set of doors marked with Vexari warning symbols. The heart of Nexus 9 is just beyond these doors. The massive doors opened to reveal a chamber unlike anything they had ever seen. A vast pool of pure blue liquid filled most of the floor, glowing with its own light. Above it, suspended in the center of the room, floated a pulsing blue sphere about 3 meters across. Tubes and pipes connected the sphere to the ceiling and walls, drawing the blue substance away to other parts of the facility. What is that? Richard asked, his voice hushed. Olivia stepped closer to the edge of the pool. The connection in her mind was overwhelming now, filling her thoughts with images and emotions that weren't her own. It's the heart, she said, a concentrated node of the planet's consciousness. 5 Vexari stood on a platform at the far end of the chamber. Unlike the soldiers they had fought, these wore elaborate robes marked with complex symbols. Their leader stepped forward. You have no idea what you're interfering with, the Vexari leader said. This resource has made our civilization the most powerful in the galaxy. You enslaved a conscious being, Olivia replied. You cut pieces from it to make weapons. The Vexari leader made a dismissive gesture. It is merely a resource. Primitive organisms that respond to stimulus. Nothing more. You're wrong, Samantha said, scanning the sphere with a device. These readings indicate a complex neural network. This is a brain, or something very much like one. The blue light in the pool rippled, as if responding to her words. Olivia felt a surge of gratitude from the connection in her mind. We're shutting this facility down, Richard declared, his hands beginning to glow. The Vexari leader touched a control panel. I think not. This chamber is rigged with explosives. If we cannot have the resource, no one will. A countdown appeared on screens around the room. 5 minutes. Everyone out. Olivia ordered the team. Get back to the ships. As the commandos began to retreat, Olivia remained by the pool. The pull was too strong to resist now. She knelt and placed her hand into the blue liquid. Instantly, her mind expanded. She wasn't just connected to the pool or the sphere, she was linked to the entire planet. Billions of hydro-organisms working as one vast mind, spread throughout the oceans of Nexus 9. She saw its history, eons of peaceful existence before the Vexari came. She felt its pain as pieces were harvested and twisted into weapons. And she understood what needed to be done. Richard, Samantha, she called. I need you. They returned to her side. Without explaining, she took their hands and guided them into the blue pool. Their eyes widened as they too felt the connection. Together, the 3 humans linked with the consciousness of Nexus 9. Through their modified bodies, they became conduits, connecting the wounded heart to the rest of the planet. The hydro-organisms are all connected, Olivia told them. They can communicate across any distance. We need to help them reconnect. The blue veins in their skin pulsed brighter as they channeled the collective will of Nexus 9. Throughout the facility, throughout the planet, And even across space to the battle still raging in orbit, the message spread. In the space battle, Coalition officers watched in amazement as the blue liquid weapons suddenly stopped responding to Vexeri control. Hydro projectiles turned mid-flight, returning to their ships of origin. On Vexeri vessels, storage tanks ruptured as the hydro substance fought to free itself. The Vexeri leader watched in horror as the countdown to detonation stopped, the numbers fading from the screens. The blue sphere pulsed, growing brighter. The tubes connected to it shriveled and fell away. "What have you done?" he demanded. Olivia looked up, her eyes now glowing blue. "We didn't do anything. Nexus 9 is freeing itself." The planet shook as centers of Vexeri control collapsed across its surface. The hydro substance returned to the oceans, reuniting with the planetary consciousness. In the command chamber, the Vexeri leaders found themselves surrounded by rising columns of blue liquid. There was nowhere to run. "Wait," Olivia called as the liquid prepared to strike. "There's been enough destruction." The columns hesitated. "They enslaved you," Richard said, "used you as weapons. And that's exactly why we shouldn't do the same," Olivia replied. "We can end this without becoming like them." The blue liquid receded, forming a cage around the Vexeri instead of destroying them. As they left the facility with their prisoners, Olivia looked back at the glowing heart of Nexus 9, now floating freely above the pool. "What happens now?" Samantha asked. Olivia smiled. "Now we negotiate peace with a new member of the galactic community." Above them, the battle had ended. The remaining Vexeri ships fled as their weapons turned against them. The Coalition had won. But it wasn't just a military victory. Humanity had discovered a new ally and transformed the most feared substance in the galaxy into a bridge between worlds.